Hey guys, welcome back to Royal Family Activity Chanel. I am excited to talk to you about this. Before I do, I want to just update you with one thing. I am dealing with the worst allergies ever. You might be able to hear my voice, you might not. I don't know. You know me, normally I like to upload 2 to 3 videos a day. This week I'm just gonna do one a day. And look for it around 2 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you so much for understanding. I just feel really yucky right now, so to help me through this, I brought my favorite sidekick to help my voice, because it kind of comes and goes. I thank you all for understanding. Let's get into I Want to Marry Harry. Ugh. No, I don't. Hong Kong, show me them honkers. This is Jay, also known as Dr. Bad Vibes. You can find me on YouTube as well. So we're here to talk about this. Originally aired, and it looks terrible then, but I guess on the bright side it does remind us that whenever the divorce horse runs into town, he could just steal the format and just hey he's. That's right. All right, I might be out of my mind on cold medicine right now, but are you really gonna pretend like we didn't actually watch this damn thing? You guys, we did. I'm not going to tell all our dirty little secrets, but I will. This came out in 2014. We were very much about to have a baby, so our life wasn't super exciting. It involved a lot of sitting around binge watching things, and I was like, oh, what's this? So I clicked on it, and I think Jay would just mess around on his phone and then occasionally look up, and by the end he was watching it with me, and it's just completely a train wreck. So it's been on my mind, and I've been wanting to talk about it. Yeah, I distinctly remember Hulu advertising it a lot. It may have popped up on Netflix at some point too. I can't remember, but I remember turning on the TV, and it was always trying to get us to watch this, and I was like, that show sucker, and it's what's like it looks so stupid. It's like, all right, well, it's at the time like I didn't know anything about the royal family or Prince Harry. I mean, I knew of them, I knew his antics, but I couldn't remember what he looked like. I mean, hell, you could have put me on the show, and I would have been like, all right, sure, that's him. I don't know, that's what you have me for, the royal expert. No, I knew. I mean, obviously, I've kept up with the worlds for a very long time, and I just kind of had to laugh when I saw this Prince Harry. I actually think this Prince Harry is less beady-eyed than the but we'll get into all that. I'm excited to talk about this awful show, which when we were polling and researching for this video, we found several articles calling it the worst show of all time. But I do want to show you something really funny. Ready for this? So here's IMDb. I Want to Marry Harry, showing 8 episodes. It got 4 out of 10 stars. I just want to show you something. Look at this. Well, get the vlog out of here, because Archetypes scored lower than I Want to Marry Harry. And you know what, if you told me I had to sit down and either watch that whole show or listen to Archetypes, I'm picking that show. But Archetypes got 3.3 out of 10, so in case you aren't as cool as us and didn't watch it or don't know what the heck we're talking about, let us explain. The storyline is single American women compete for the heart of Prince Harry look-alike, who they are led to believe is the real thing. You guys, you cannot make this storyline up. You talk 20-something-year-olds, and yes, our instinct is to make fun of how could. We'll just say the producers knew what they were doing when they chose the contestants. Yeah, really, the Prince Harry aspect was just the hook to get people to watch. The premise of the show is basically like, LOL, they're gold diggers. That's pretty much the whole premise of the show, I guess. What was that other One Joe Millionaire, yeah, it's kind of like that, but like more mean-spirited. It's like, hey, these girls only want to marry him because he's a prince with money, and then that was going to be the big reveal, then like, haha, she's a gold digger, and then everybody would laugh. I guess the ratings would come in, but also that may have been the premise. But they also just spent the whole time tricking these girls. They filmed here at this location, which fun side fact, when I was researching this I learned that it was filmed at Inglefield House in Berkshire, however you guys say. And a fun fact is Pippa ended up. And as I saw it I was like, I know I've seen this, and I had an idea, and I googled it, and yes, this is where they filmed X-Men First Class. That's where Professor X lives, that's the X Mansion. The James McAvoy one, the first, that was one of the good ones, the first one when. So if what you're telling me is if they had picked you to come date Harry, you'd be more obsessed with the house than with Harry. I'd be like, something's up. This is Professor X's house. This is not Prince Harry's house. Also, I don't want to marry a man. Why am I on? Asked it today in just a second, but so it premiered May 20th, 2014 on Fox. Like Jay said, it was meant to be similar to Joe Millionaire. They were competing for who they thought was Prince Harry. However, the real bachelor's name was Matthew Hicks. He was a Prince Harry look. And while it had 8 episodes, it was announced in June, so not even a month later, June 12th, that the show was being pulled from air in the U.S. and cancelled after airing only 4 episodes. Although not broadcast, the last 4 episodes were available on FOX.com as well as on Hulu, and Who is where we found it. Yes, and that is the main thing. I remember Hulu being relentless. Yeah. It's like, you better watch this, and now, having no knowing more about the background of the show, Ryan Seacrest was one of the producers, so he wanted his money back, so I'm sure they pushed it on everything they could just to get the views, and beyond that, like the behind the scenes stuff, I guess. You know, the whole joke was like, oh, they're gold diggers, they're going to think of Terry, and I guess some of them started to doubt that it was Prince Harry, probably because it was so bad, like just stuff just didn't make sense. I mean, it's shitty costumes, yeah. Like that, the wardrobe is crap. I mean, if you know, I wouldn't be on the show, but an extra for one of these parties they had, and I'm supposed to believe it too. I'd be like, no, this is like a prank, something's not right. And so I guess as they started to doubt it, they went as far as the basically dressing a crew member as a therapist or posing as a therapist and telling them they're all crazy for not thinking it's real. Oh my god, so they really it's a messed up stuff to trick these people. Yeah, and I guess they didn't want it to fail again. Ryan, he is, I heard about him recently. I did not realize how many shows he's been involved with, like in the background and everything. And fun fact, also kind of like the X-Men thing, the first or second show he was involved in was Gladiators 2000, which was the kid spin-off of American Gladiators, which I totally forgot about, so I have to look that up. I don't remember if the adult gladiators attacked children or how that worked. I think it was more like the Nickelodeon show. Yeah, so how nuts is basically like the girls say that they're being brainwashed and gaslit behind the scenes, but the show seemed to have like no shame about pushing this narrative that it's Prince Harry, and he even had a butler, which they just referred to Kingsley, and the girls would ask Kingsley, is that really Prince Harry? And he'd have to go along with it. I think he just called the guy sir, and so like again making it seem like the Girls were nuts if they didn't fully get on board with this, so when pulling information and going back over all this and remembering what happened in the episodes, I found an article by the that called its review of the show Fodder for the Brain Dead, and it went on to point out that the floundering Harry lookalike wasn't a wild or weird enough character to carry the show, and that's exactly what we found too. It was. Again, I'm not trying to insult the girls. It sounds like they were tricked pretty harsh behind the scenes, but you know. Some confused girls, and then this weirdo. You know, that was playing along, and again the costume department was dropping the ball. The whole thing, it was just felt off. It just felt like the Wish.com version of Harry or something, where it's like just irregular, not quite right. Not that Prince Harry is quite right, but you know what I mean. It's like one of the kids said, "Hey, Mom, can we go to the store and get Prince Harry's?" So Mom's like, "No, we've got Prince Harry at home, and this is the Prince Harry at home. Okay, let's get into the show itself." So the guy that plays Prince Harry, he was working for an environmental consultancy firm. He'd done small bits where he pretended to be Prince Harry, but no actual acting experience, and turns out they ended up having to dye his natural blonde red. To take on this part, they gave him brief training and quote princely activities. I can't even imagine what that would be. Sounds like Prince, the real Prince Harry, might need that he would need for this show, such as horseback riding, fencing, and ballroom dancing. Hicks was also taught extensive information about Prince Harry to help Hicks be able to respond to contestants appropriately. Sounds like they talked to about a possible Prince Harry's before landing on Hicks. How do you find 100 Prince Harry lookalikes? I bet the real one probably auditioned. He's like, "Oh, could I be on the show?" And they're like, "Nah, dude. You can't access." "Oh, okay, well, I guess I'll just check Instagram. Maybe the one is there for me." Perhaps a girl that dresses like a dog and has a tongue hanging out. So there were 12. And each episode one of them would receive. They'd be crowned, and that person would get the crown suite. So they and then one contestants would be marked safe. And then, of course, along the way I think there's just one that had left the show. I'm actually avoiding spoilers, because in case you want to go see this piece of, you know what, we're going to be recapping it on Patreon a little bit, so you can definitely check out more in-depth stuff there. But yeah, it's actually still up on YouTube. The full episodes, you can check them out there. I didn't check to see if it's still up on Hulu. The one of the contestants, I guess they pretty much know they got on the show, and they're like, "Oh, it's going to be The Bachelor." And they were told repeatedly, "Hey, it's not The Bachelor, don't call it The Bachelor, it's not." And then you know it's essentially The Bachelor, although it sounds like it's more like I never watched it, so I assume viewers, and Jen, you know, I remember the commercials for Joe Millionaire. I got the gist of it, but it does say that it's such an uncanny resemblance to Joe Millionaire that it's weird, like small details. I don't know what they would be. This was just, you know, something that somebody said. I haven't seen both to compare to the two, but it sounds like they basically ripped off. I mean, that's how reality TV works, right? They find a formula, everybody rips it off, so that's what happened here, and they fumbled it fabulously. So the winner, again not saying her name in case you explained, she went on to write an essay about her time on the show and explains that she was cast along 11 other American women flown into Heathrow Airport, and they're all really nervous and not exactly sure what they were in For phones were taken away, they didn't have access to books or television, so A struggled with that as would most of us. Right by the 6th or 7th day she was just much more or less willing to listen to whatever she was told. When they started filming, a Rolls-Royce took her and the other girls to the fancy house, a giant estate that looked like a castle. That's when some of the girls started to think that this show could have something to do with the royal. And they met the red-haired English bachelor during a masquerade ball on. They were all masked, and so did he. So was he, and can I just say, look at the screen, look at these costumes. If you were actually thinking this was Prince Harry, this one came out with a wardrobe when you see this and be like, nah, this is something else. They would go so far as to have fake paparazzi crash the dates so the women would believe that he was the bachelor. And I'm laughing and thinking about how this catastrophic car chase were fake paparazzi were allegedly chasing that. You know that whole BS story. Now all the photographs taken in parking lots where the paparazzi are everywhere, so it sounds like Meghan and Harry are taking pages out of this playbook. The one that sticks out the most to me, there was a date that the fake hair went on and his security had him take off on a helicopter, so that had the women believing, oh my god, he really is important, he really did have to go, that sort of thing. Not that production was totally behind this. Clearly it could have been real, it would have been a horse you can't trick me pull this show just when we're doing the research, and I jumped on Rotten Tomatoes, who basically says it's abysmal, but one of the top critics says just because the guy has a British accent doesn't make this a class act. There's no way reality TV could get more ridiculous. So another show's narrator describes Matthew as, quote, good-hearted but in tricking all these women and making them look dumb. Even the one who claims to be pre-med with a 4.0 GPA and molecular biology. It's hard to live up to that description. Another critic says, like spam, the show offers too much wealth, fame, royal status. Too easy, so the question it raises is, who would believe it? Yeah, so we were looking for anything to watch, and this, it looked like funny, haha, dumb. But it was just bad dumb. Yeah, I mean now that we know more, I mean we didn't have really a TV setup, gosh, it didn't get past 4 episodes on Fox, so that says a lot right there, but all 8 showed up on Hulu, as it reminded us every second we logged into. But yeah, it just I don't know, it was a weak joke that didn't have the punchline, and it didn't have a strong premise or lead character to keep people fascinated. I just think the whole show very low budget, which is I mean they spent money on dumb things like flying him off in a helicopter to trick these girls, but then again when it came to wardrobe I was like, no, I don't have the budget for that. But we will be covering an episode over on Patreon where we pause it and talk through. So definitely check that out if you haven't already signed up for Patreon. Definitely check that out, and as Jen mentioned before, this still has a better rating than Archetypes. If you put both in front of me, I would pick this one 100. Because Archetypes is garbage, but what isn't garbage is my YouTube channel, Dr. Bad Vibes. You can find me there, and you can find me on Twitch. I play video games. I'm sure everybody's interested in that. Yeah, meanwhile we're gonna redo our wedding reception and have it at this place because that place is gorgeous. Choice, Pippa. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to bringing you more content soon. Voice clears up. I'm so annoyed he can probably hear it in my voice, but anyway. Thank you so much for being here. We so Appreciate that. Listen, I love my drunk Goose Club. You guys are the best. Honk. Honk. Everybody, thank you for all the love and support and lovely messages. I appreciate it so much, you have no idea. I just truly do. All everybody that's ordered the merch and are saying that you love it, that makes my heart so happy. Thank you so much to everybody that's joined Patreon. I appreciate you guys too. Thank you everybody who hit the join button on the channel, thank you for that. That got the special stickers, thank you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment. See you.